I think it's time we had the talk. Humans are really bad at Zoom meetings. Don't get me wrong, attending a meeting with bad lighting, bad camera, bad composition, or some crazy things going on in the background really isn't that big of a deal. But if you're the presenter, if you're hosting the meeting, then you really ought to step up your game. And in today's video, we're gonna show you how you can take your Zoom meetings to the next level. We're gonna show you how to do this with what you already have and what products to buy if you're thinking about upgrading your setup. We also have a pro tip at the end that shows you how to enhance your pre-existing recordings if they're really low quality. In the following intro, we're gonna show you an example of why it's really important to have high quality Zoom presentations and Zoom meetings. If you wanna jump to a certain point in the video, you can go to cameras here, lighting here, or recording here. A weird looking package on my desk. I'm gonna get off here.
911, what's your emergency?
I have a bomb on my desk.
Just stay calm, sir. We're going to transfer you over to our remote bomb squad division, where they will connect you via Zoom meeting to show you how to disable the device.
Are you kidding? They can't send someone here?
We'll send you the link shortly. Thank you for calling 911 and understanding in these unprecedented times. Have a good day.
Okay.
Oh, come on, connect, come on.
It's Grayson. What's up?
I have a bomb. I don't know what to do.
Be cool. We got this. Can you show me a picture of the device?
Here, I'll show it to you. Wait, are you in your home?
Yeah. Times are tough right now. Just show me the picture.
It's crazy. Okay, yeah, here you go. Here, check it out.
Oh, that's a toughie. I'll demonstrate on the board for you.
Toughie? That's reassuring.
So you got the explosive here. You got a red wire, and you got a black wire right beside it. Don't cut those.
Okay, don't cut that wire or do cut that wire?
You got a bunch of black wires, another red wire right here, 2 white wires like that.
But I can't even see what you're writing. It's so blurry.
Don't cut this one. Cut this one.
Which one are you even pointing at? I can't even see what you're doing.
All right,
I don't know which wire you're talking about. Wait, where are you going? No, please, no! Oh, come back. Oh, wait, I can play it back. Oh, thank you, Zoom, for recording that. The quality's worse than before. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, white wire, or not the white. Which white wire? I think it was this one. Wait, what?
So before we dive into all these topics, there is one thing I want to mention. A week from the release of this video, we're going to have a live stream Q&A that goes over everything we discussed in this video. So if you guys leave comments below, we will read through those comments and discuss those in the next live stream. Just keep them reasonable. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know when that stream comes out. It will be 1 week to the day from the publishing of this video. So let's get into it. So you're ready to host your meeting. You get out your computer, open up Zoom, and just start recording. It's great, it's really that simple. The problem is the quality in this little built-in webcam right here is terrible. Even on higher end laptops and iMacs and PCs, any built-in web camera is probably going to be very, very low quality. The other issue you're gonna have, other than just low resolution, is low dynamic range. And that means that if you have any bright lights in the scene, or a bright background, or the light on you is too much, it's gonna totally wash out and just look terrible. You don't have to go buy a high-end camera to solve this. There are a couple other options. If you have an Android, you could use Droid Cam for free, because we love Android, they just give us practically everything. It links to your computer through Wi-Fi, just like a regular webcam, but instead of using the phone by itself, you can still use your computer, you can still do screen sharing, and you still get the full screen. It's a really great feature. They also make the same thing for iOS. Now iOS charges like $5, but I'm pretty sure it's a little higher quality and possibly a little better. Both of these programs have software that you'll need to install on your computer to make this work, and I'll link tutorials on how to do that below. There's some great tutorials on YouTube that already explain that. There's no reason for me to go over that again. The other more simple option is to just do Zoom directly on your phone or tablet. That will give you higher quality. Now you're probably gonna find yourself using the selfie cam because that's the camera that's facing you that still lets you use the screen. The problem is most selfie cams are much lower quality than the built-in camera on the back of your phone. So that's why it's a really good idea to install those apps and link it to your laptop or computer instead of just relying on a cellular device. If you're ready to spend some money, you could go buy a webcam. I'll put a few links in the description of ones that are still available as of this video. They usually run at least $100 to $200 for anything that's worth buying. Much less than that, and you're gonna get into cameras that aren't much better than your existing built-in webcam on your laptop or desktop computer. If you're really ready to step it up, there is one other option. You could go with a DSLR or mirrorless camera. To use an external camera, you'll need some type of capture card. Unfortunately, the 4K cam links are pretty much all sold out right now and really hard to find. If you're watching this video, say in 6 months, it might be a lot easier to get those. There is a device by Elgato that's actually designed for gaming. This is the Game Capture HD60S. This little guy will let you do the same thing. Even though it's optimized for gaming, it is available right now, and you can actually find these used for about $80 on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. If you want to take it to the next level, you could buy an A7iii Mini, which is what we use for most of our videos. That allows you to switch from one camera to a separate camera and also put in overlays and graphics while you're live. And now that we have cameras out of the way, we're going to talk about composition. Basically, where do you want to be in frame? What do you want your background to be? And how lighting is going to affect your video. So to start out, we have two things here. We have the cell phone camera, which is really similar to using, say, like a webcam or something like that. And then we also have an example with the laptop camera, which is pretty bad. The built-in webcam is just not very good at all. And with this bright window in the background, it just totally just makes me go blank and you can hardly see what's happening. Now, even with the cell phone, you'll see a problem right away. When I move around with all this light in the background, it's going to change exposure and it's going to jump and the focus is going to move and it just looks really bad. So what you want to do is be somewhere other than this. You don't want to have a really bright background. You want to be brighter than your background is. I'm not using any artificial lighting. None of the house lights are on. We just have the window. So let's look at another extreme example of this that you see that's really common because look, this view is really pretty, especially for an apartment. So why wouldn't I want to show that off? Well, that's not what the meetings are about. The meetings are about you. So let's take a look with this in the background and see what that does. Now we have the windows in the background, which they look really neat, but you can't even see out there anyway. And then if I move a little bit, it'll try to get that background, but when I come back, you can't even see it anyway. So there's really no advantage to this. And then when we go over to the laptop, you can see I'm just a silhouette. So that definitely does not work. There is an option of this. By providing artificial lighting, we might be able to get a clip that is somewhat usable. So let's see if that works right now. All right, now this is using artificial lighting. This light is cranked all the way up and it is really bright. So if you want to have this kind of background, you're going to have to do something like this. It's not perfect, but it definitely allows for you to have some type of bright background. But again, you just need to be brighter than it. This light is about $100 on Amazon. I can link it down below so you guys can check it out and see if it's something you want to add to your kit. Something you have to keep in mind is that there's no distractions in the background. That can look really unprofessional. Now let's go to the final setup, which is going to just have a wall in the background, but it's going to give us the most flexibility. It'll let us work in the daytime, nighttime, and allow us to do presentations and write on a board. So let's see what that looks like. All right, now this is going to show you what it's like to just have a plain background, and this is using natural light. There are no lights on in the house. This is just what's coming from outside of those windows we just saw. This actually looks pretty good. I'm happy with this. You can definitely have a professional meeting this way. You can also put things in the background that you can write on, and you can do diagrams, anything like that. Keep in mind that if you're using a low quality webcam like the one built in your computer, you're not going to be able to read what's back there. And sometimes that can be really important. So when we go over to the laptop webcam, you'll see you can't even hardly tell what's going on with this board, and this board is really washed out. And like our cheesy intro, you can see that anything we write on here is not going to be very visible with the laptop webcam. On this camera, it's still kind of hard to see, but it is usable. And this is where it might be a good idea to even have curtains to block some of this natural light over here so that the background is very evenly lit and there's no glare coming off of it. Now you can go one step further with this by actually introducing some artificial light, and this is going to give you the best look by far. So let's check that out real quick. Now by using artificial light, I'm able to make myself brighter than the background, and that's going to make the camera stay locked on my exposure. So when I move around, it shouldn't change too much. This will make the background more visible too, because it's not blown out or too bright. Again, even on the laptop camera, the quality is still really, really poor. So this is where a good external webcam or a cell phone would be really helpful. I would show you guys the DSLR setup, but honestly, you can see what it looks like in the studio and what our videos look like there. That's if you use a really, really high-end camera, but that can cost thousands of dollars and really is not necessary for Zoom meetings unless you just want to get crazy with quality. As you can see, the different types of cameras make a huge difference. The lighting also makes a huge difference, and the background is paramount. It's really important to keep yourself separate from the background and to have yourself brighter than the background. Now, another tip, if you're going to use those cheesy background replacements, make sure there is a lot of contrast between you and the background. So ideally, you are by far the brightest thing in the room. And if you have to, shut all of the background lighting off. This way their automated keying tool can actually see where the edges of you are, and you don't get those weird blocks and like where you can see between your fingers or it's cutting the side of your head off. So make sure there's a lot of contrast if you're going to use a background replacement. A couple other things to consider with your lighting is you want soft lighting. So for example, the light we use in this room is a soft key light. It's really wide. It makes the shadows blend across versus being really harsh. So soft lighting is helpful. Sometimes if you have to use a little desk lamp, you can always bounce it off of a wall or some kind of white sheet to soften it. That's an easy way to do it for free. Another thing that really sets your video apart from the rest is your headspace, your composition in the frame. Ideally, you want to have about the thickness of your fist above your head, or have your eyes in line with the upper third of the frame. Either of those are decent guides to get you started. What you don't want is to be down here filming, because that doesn't make any sense at all, or way too high, because that's just weird. So do your best to get yourself centered in the frame and to get your headspace about right. Once you're set up, you won't have to really think about it again. Another tip you're going to want to try is try to not have your laptop set on the desk that you are actually using. So if you are leaning on the desk and it's moving, you're always going to be shaking. So do your best to put whatever your webcam is on a different surface that won't move when you rest your arms on your desk. So a tripod, or like we used in the video, a candle, anything to hold it up would be just fine. The next thing we need to go over is your audio. What are you using for your audio input? Zoom does a pretty good job with their noise canceling algorithms, but they aren't perfect. And if you have a lot of background noise, it's going to sound really metallic and it's going to make your voice just sound really bad. So if you can, use some type of external microphone. There are a few options. You can use this little Rode VideoMicro, which I believe is about $50. It can plug right into your phone or laptop, or you can get some type of USB microphone like a Blue Yeti, I believe. Those are all really great options. You could also use a lapel mic. Now this is my favorite, honestly, and I don't really use the clips much. I actually just like to tape it to the inside of my shirt. This way, if you move around, it picks your voice up a lot better, and it's just a lot higher quality overall. Now you can do things like use shotgun mics like what we have, but that's just way overkill and totally unnecessary. Again, just like the lighting, you want to make sure the audio of yourself is the loudest thing in the room. You want to be louder than the background noise as much as possible. This means turning things off. Sometimes we'll turn our furnace off when we record these videos. I even turn the refrigerator down if I'm going to be near the kitchen. And then I put like a little sticky note on it so that you know to turn it back on, because that can be bad. So do whatever you can to cut down on background noise. That way the algorithm doesn't mess with your voice too much trying to correct it. The last thing we're going to go over is recording your Zoom meetings. Zoom has its own built-in record feature, which is set to 640 by 320. They also have the option to optimize your recording for video editing programs. This is a nice feature that does help the quality a little bit. There is also a setting in there if you're paying for the Pro version that allows you to set your meetings to 720 or 1080 in playback, but that doesn't actually solve the recording problem. Again, it's 640 by 320, which is like flip phone quality from way back in the day. That's really, really bad. So what can you do about this? Well, after digging around online, we found out that there really isn't much you can, except you can use a screen recorder. I'll leave some links below depending on the type of computer you have, but these are generally free recorders that will record your screen and do it in full resolution. So HD 1080 is not an issue at all. Your quality is still a little poor just because Zoom's link isn't perfect, but it is much, much better than the built-in recording. Now make sure you are still recording with their setup in case you have any issues so you have a backup copy. The last recording tip, and this is really for you advanced users out there that just want to totally take it to the next level, is to use an enhancing tool after the fact. Topaz Labs actually makes this AI video enhance tool that is amazing. I'll show you the difference here. This is the difference between a recorded video clip before and after the enhance. It makes a dramatic difference and it can really save your videos, especially if you have a really important meeting that you just want to be very presentable and very high quality. You can also use this tool for older videos that are just lying around or even family videos if you'd like. It's pretty amazing. I'll leave a link below so you can check it out. Thanks for sticking out this whole tutorial, and we'd really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. Our channel does YouTube tutorials as well as camera and lighting and everything in between. So if you're a filmmaker, videographer, or you just like playing around with the camera, we have a lot of great content coming up for you. The Zoom meetings is a little different for us, but with the current climate, we just figured we would give our perspective on it. Now, a week from the release of this video, we're actually going to do a live stream Q&A about Zoom meetings. So anything that was talked about in this video, if you have more questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And in a live stream, we'll actually discuss those comments. And then at the end, if we have time, we'll go through more comments that come in during the live stream as well. So be sure to check that out. After that live stream, we're going to publish another video and then do a Q&A a week later. It's a new format we're going to test out to see how this goes. Be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you see when the next video and that live stream comes out. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.